75 people in session. I think we'll start. 33. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good day. Today, we do the third episode of season 7. My name is Ashfaq Ahmed. I am the anchor of PMI Chapter Exchange. I'm also the vice president of PMI Mumbai chapter. Since this being the third event, we still have 9 more events in 2026. Before we begin, would like to acknowledge the current volunteers for our chapter exchange program. Can I call upon Tao from PMI Chapter Exchange to say hi to our audience?
Hello, everyone. Welcome to join. This is the most important topic of the world, the psychology of the stakeholders. So welcome.
Thank you, Tao. Priscilla from Sao Paulo, Brazil chapter.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. It's morning here in Brazil, 11 a.m. We have a beautiful sunny day today, so enjoy the session.
Thank you, Priscilla. Do we have Anita from Poland chapter?
Yes. Hi, Ahmed. Hi, everyone. Greetings from Poland. It's afternoon, just after 3 p.m. here in Poland. I'm jealous, Priscilla. It's a bit cloudy here where I am in Wrocław. Welcome, everyone, and enjoy the session.
Thank you, Anita. Amod Pusalkar from PMI Mumbai chapter.
And hi guys, this is Batu from PMI Mongolia chapter. So very happy to be here. Pleasure.
Yeah, we will come to that. Amod, are you there? Okay, moving on to the next session. On the screen, I'm showing you 12 events that we are planning to do. Yeah, Amod, you want to quickly say hi to the crowd?
Yeah. Hey, hello everyone. This is Amod Pusalkar from PMI Mumbai chapter.
Thank you, Amod. On the screen, we have the events, and you'll be able to see we have already done 2 events. This is the third one, and we have another 9 lined up. And the link for registration for the next event, we'll share it before the end of this event. Moving on to the next phase, over to Priscilla.
Okay, thank you, Ahmed. Now let me introduce you the exchange effect map, which shows how our registrations are distributed today across more than 40 countries. Beautiful map. Next one, please.
Yeah.
Next one, please.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. And before we begin, please take a moment to say hello in the chat and start connecting with one another. You can also update your profile in Meet with your LinkedIn details and network with your fellow attendees. Today, we are excited to share that we have more than 350 registrations from across the globe, representing over 30 countries, from Alaska to New Zealand and everywhere in between. Thank you all for this incredible response and for being part of this initiative. Please note that this session is being recorded. So if you are not comfortable with that, you may choose to leave at this time. Otherwise, we are happy to have you with us. Also, all participants are speaking in their individual capacity. The views shared today do not represent the official positions of our respective organizations. Next one, please. And here's something special. You can also be featured in our attendee spotlight session. How? By actively participating in the event. Share a quote related to today's topic or your key takeaway from the session in the chat. Our team will select one quote and its author will be spotlighted at the end of the session and be featured in our Insight Exchange nugget. So get ready, join the conversation, and share your thoughts in the chat. Thank you. Over to you, Ahmed.
Thank you, Priscilla. On the screen, you see a motto: one theme, one song, one dance. Just a snapshot of our program. Xchange program is a PMI collaborative initiative. We have 38 participating chapters and many supporting chapters on this program, representing all regions that PMI is in today. We are also in discussion with other chapters whom we will onboard soon. PMI Chapter Xchange is a virtual community of chapter leaders, community that transcends across countries, continents, and culture. Our vision is to eventualize cross-chapter collaboration and encourage cultural diversity. It's all about teamwork, co-creating monthly events to bring diverse perspectives to our chapter members, spurring networking and collaboration opportunities. And by doing this, we are building a community to share good practices within and external to the program. That is why you will notice chapter from diverse background participating in this program, because we truly believe diverse connection leads to innovative solution. Yeah, Anita, you want to go ahead, please?
Yes, with pleasure. Thank you, Ahmed. I would like, and I'm honored to present today our keynote of the event, Samir Kulkarni. Welcome, Samir. And let me tell you a little bit about our keynote. So Samir is a seasoned Air Force veteran and tech strategist with impressive 27 plus years of experience. He specializes in digital transformation, cybersecurity, and operational excellence. He's published author. He has led enterprise scale IT and network initiatives, building resilient, secure systems. With strong leadership across cross-functional teams, Samir excels in delivering mission-critical projects efficiently while optimizing success. He's passionate about leveraging technology for impact. He actively contributes to professional communities like IEEE and IETE. I'm really curious what these stand for, Samir. And Samir helps organizations navigate evolving digital landscape. We are very honored to have you today with us, and over to you, Samir. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for that wonderful introduction, Anita. I hope I am audible.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I share my screen. Please confirm once the screen is visible.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, thank you so much. And just as a brief background, I will just cover. IEEE is the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers across the world. It's a professional body. And IETE is the Indian version of Institute of Electrical and Telecommunication Engineers. So that is what I am associated with. Apart from that, I am associated with PMI Gujarat chapter, and I am working from a beautiful city of Gandhinagar in Gujarat of India. And thank you so much, PMI Mumbai chapter, the Exchange initiative. It's a wonderful initiative to allow me to talk on this important subject of psychology of stakeholder influence and engagement. I would like to share some real stories, some hard lessons, which you can use it for your projects and sometimes, right? Taking forward, what we have observed across the world that there's almost 70% of the project failures, they are rooted in people problems. They are not the technical ones. And that is what is noted by PMI also, right? In one of the Indian banks, we have noticed almost 200 crores were lost, not because of the technical failure or technology failure, because one of the CISOs, they never got the board to truly believe in the risk. So what I understand from all these aspects and things like that is we are basically taught to manage projects and not people. Wherein I come from a defense background, wherein we live with the people and probably we lead people to death also sometimes, right? So, so that is the kind of DNA what we bring it to the table. So when I transitioned from military to corporate, the first thing which I noticed that we are mostly into mastering the Gantt charts, the risk registers, budgets, revenues, and things like that. But I have realized it over a period of time. Earlier also during my defense tenure also, stakeholders were there, but managing them was not so critical. Now in the corporate world, I am seeing it even more critical. So they operate with some emotions. They don't operate with logic. A simple resistant CFO, he can kill the technically perfect project. And I will explain to you with a real example what I have seen. So what I feel is probably this is a app topic what PMI Mumbai chapter has initiated, and I'm happy to share whatever I have got. The first thing from neuroscience, what I feel that there are two states. One is the threat state and one is the reward state. And the stakeholders, whosoever are there, whether they are internal stakeholders or external stakeholders in the company, their brain is basically running some ancient software. That is what I, being from IT background, I refer to that as the ancient software. Like the stakeholders, they feel loss of control, status, uncertainty, and that is precisely why they are blocking decisions, or they go silent, or they start micromanaging things, right? And this is where the project fails. So how can you change? So your influence comes into as a PM, as a project management professional. If you transfer that threat state to a reward state, wherein the stakeholder will feel safe, he'll feel valued, then the entire situation changes, and they actually become the champions of the project, and they will unlock resources, which you will see in some of the examples which I am covering. So this is the first example, which a real story which I witnessed. So there was a CFO who almost said 11 times no to a particular project. Right? Every time what a project manager used to do, he used to prepare some deck, some data, some presentation, and prove that return on investment is there. There is a logic, there's a technology, and weekly status he used to update it to the CTO, escalate it to wherever he wanted. But the simple response of the CFO was silence. Okay, we will revisit it next quarter. And that is how it was happening all the time. So what was really happening? The CFO's team was about to lose the budget to the IT. And that is where they felt that, yeah, I'm losing control or authority or autonomy. So how the conversation simply changed is the mentor suggested just one thing: stop presenting and start asking. So, as a project manager, he walked into the CFO's office without any slides, without any question, and just simply asked one question: what would you need to see to feel comfortable owning this decision? The CFO paused. He spent a good number of time after that explaining what exactly they are looking forward to and what was the outcome. Outcome was a simple sign-off approved in 2 weeks. And in fact, the CFO gave the presentation to the board, and the budget also was increased. So this is how exactly what has happened. We have shifted from threat mode to reward mode by simply adding one question to the entire ecosystem. And what was that question? That question is, what would you need to feel comfortable? With that simple one question, instantly it gave him the autonomy to back. He became the architect and not the obstacle. And his brain shifted from defense to creation. And that is how simple tweaks by project management professionals can turn around the project outcome. Right? This is another example which really happened. So one sponsor, he stopped replying to the emails, and subsequently the project was cancelled. Right? A ERP, almost a 45 CR ERP was going live. They were 3 months away. The project manager kept persisting with VP operations. The PM assumed that he trusts everything is hanky-dory, nothing is going wrong, let us go ahead. But by the time PM found out that the MD has already agreed to push go live by 6 months, and that is when started the stakeholders started disengaging. So they stopped asking questions in the meeting, they stopped or delayed email replies and things like that. Right? The what PM the project manager should have done, when he notices that the stakeholders are not responding, he should respond back or reach out to them. Is everything is okay? Why are you not responding? Simply a monthly 15-minute coffee, no agenda, no. Just go and listen. That entirely changes the situation. Right? So this is one model which I found very apt in this kind of scenario. It's the SCARF model. It basically covers about status, their sense of importance. So whether you are giving that importance to the stakeholders, the relevant stakeholders or not. Certainty, whether the predictability and knowledge, what's next coming out, whether all the stakeholders are aware about it or not. Whether they are getting the autonomy or the project managers have the autonomy, sense of control of the outcomes. Only then, if they feel the autonomy is there with them, they will contribute wholeheartedly. They will also feel safe and connected when it is related to them in some sense or the other. So you have to bring that personal connect with them. And it should be looking, perception should be fair enough. And that is where this model can change the entire stakeholder engagement. Right? So this is another example which I found very critical. This is a typical example which happened in a state of Gujarat. The names are fictitious, but the story is real. There was one Mr. Mehta, who was the head of a surgery, who publicly called a new patient record system, which was a project. So they are looking for this particular project. But the project manager did not send a response to the email by the head of surgery. Instead, he kept sending a lot of, I heard your concern. Can we move forward and things like that? But that didn't work. What actually worked, so when the project managers adopted the SCARF model, in the week 4, he directly approached Dr. Mehta, walked around for some time, maybe around 2 minutes, 5 minutes, and things like that. And the issue got resolved. And thereafter, Mr. Mehta actually volunteered to train his own surgical team. He recorded an endorsement video, and the entire project was a successful hit thereafter. So this is how simple changes in approaching the stakeholders can change the outcome of a project. So this is what simply what most project managers say. The data clearly shows we should proceed, but how it should be seen is help me understand what's making you hesitant and things like that. So I have listed out these things. I'll share this presentation with all of you. But then these are the things, simple changes in your approach, in your thought process can make a huge difference to the project outcome. Right? So one question that saved, this is another one example of BFSI. There was a regulatory requirement. RBI is the Reserve Bank of India in India. It's a regulatory body overseeing all the BFSI sector. So there was a panic call. In the last 2 weeks, they suddenly realized that some regulatory requirements are to be met. And the head of operations, he was not very sure as to how to respond to that. Right? The plain and simple response by the project manager simply was, I know the CRO is under pressure. Can you tell me the one thing, if resolved, would make that comfortably signing? And he simply told me that there are some bad entries which regulatory body would request to resolve it. So can you make that one simple change of backtracking by 30 days? And the same simple solution resolved the problem, and the 80 crores project was saved. So see, reaching out to the stakeholders, relevant stakeholders matters quite a lot. You have to understand their psyche. So these are the 3 biases: status quo bias. Like we already have project managers normally say, this has been happening all the way, so let us do it this way only. And that is what the stakeholder doesn't like. Same is the confirmation bias. all the stakeholders, whether they're internal, external, they only look for the data which is conforming to their way of working, way of thinking. And there is a sunken cost. People will look at the amount of things which is going to the loss instead of looking at saving part. So how can the project managers fix that problem? Is very, very simple with the simple fixes. Right? These are the three power laws of stakeholder influence. Listen to lead, not to reply. The other details are available. We can go through and deliberate once we go into the discussions. Then frame for gain and not for logic, because logic actually doesn't work when it comes to project successful completion. And build trust with the relevant stakeholder before you need it actually. So you have to identify the relevant stakeholders in before time and then build trust so that you see through the project with their help. This is another interesting thing which I found out, that there is a Chinese influence levers: reciprocity, authority, social proof, commitment, liking, and scarcity. If you apply these, then this will influence the stakeholder responses. So if you can understand this, it will change the entire perspective towards project management aspects. So after seeing all these things, these are the 5 questions which I found relevant. If you can just take this to the stakeholder conversation, it will completely change the outlook of a project. What does the success look like for you in this project? Or what would need to be true for you to fully support this? And what are you most worried we might miss? How can I make your life easier through this project? And who else buying do you think is critical here? So with this, you will get lot of autonomy to him, lot of importance to him, lot of things like that. So with all these questions, this is what I have created, a sort of psychology playbook for myself. So on every one day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, I keep doing these activities so that the stakeholders are engaged and in turn the project becomes successful. So with this, I have come to the end of my presentation, wherein I feel that technical skills got you the PMP. That is very, very important. However, psychological intelligence will make you extraordinary, right? So move every stakeholder from threat to reward state. Very, very important aspect. And all these 5 powerful questions which I have covered before, that will change the entire perspective of any stakeholder for that matter, be it internal, be it external. And we look forward to the panel discussions and sharing lot of other best practices. We'll be happy to continue. Let's continue the conversation ahead. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Samir. Thank you so much. We would like to see this presentation. So if you could share, we will also put it on our website.
Yes, we'll definitely share that.
Thank you. Moving on to the next segment of our discussion. Let me just share my screen again. I like that statement when you mentioned managing projects through people. Most of the time, we all are busy managing projects, but what we fail or don't realize is that we are actually supposed to manage people. So
yeah, absolutely.
So you're able to see my screen, right? Okay. Okay. Moving on to the next segment, which is the panel discussion. I would request, I'll be moderating this event. So I'll request the panelists to do a quick round of introduction about themselves, and we will move forward. So Estella, can you quickly introduce yourself, please?
Hi everyone, thank you, Hamed. I'm Estelle Jawa. I am from the Cameroon Project Management Chapter and also from the Valeute chapter in Canada. And I'm really happy to be with you.
Thank you, Estella. We are happy to have you. Riyam?
Hello, everyone. So I'm Riyam Shazbek. I'm the president of PMI Lebanon chapter. I have a background in electromechanical engineering with a master's degree in mechanical engineering. And mainly what I do is everything related to project management, establishing offices from strategy and transformation office to PMOs. And that's it mainly. Thank you.
Thank you, Ian. Thank you for having me. Patricia?
Hello all, good afternoon, good evening, good morning as well. So Patricia, I am a mentor, business coach and project leader within 15 years of experience in the industry area. Yes, we've been a PMI Poland connected, long time. So long-term volunteer and member. Nice to be with you here.
Thank you, Patricia. Batu from Mongolia chapter. Batu?
Awesome. Hi again. Very excited to be here again. So I'm with the PMI Mongolia chapter, overseeing the marketing side of the PMI Mongolia chapter. My experience is from the travel tech industry. I work at Amadeus IT technology company from Europe. So happy again to be here, and I'd love to share my thoughts with you guys.
I think that is all. So moving on to I'll just stop sharing and we will have all of our Okay, so we have all our panelists now. Thank you so much. And moving on to the first question of our session today. Let me start with Batu.
Okay.
Batu, can you help me understand what psychological factor builds or erodes trust between organization and stakeholders?
Okay, Ahmed, how much time do I have?
As long as the answer gets over.
All right, awesome. Well, so again, I mean, we're talking about psychology today and psychological factors. From what we've been seeing and experiencing, it seems that there needs to be 4 main psychological factors to be the groundwork for building a trust between organizations and stakeholders. So I'm going to talk first about the 4 factors that we are looking at as the really the building blocks. First, it seems that consistency is what people use to trust because in a way, what people trust is what they can predict. So consistency seems to be very important for building trust. So consistency. Second, we're looking at transparency. People basically trust what we understand. So it's important that we have the transparency, the clarity, and when things are open, then we don't have a suspicion that helps to build trust. Competence is also what drives. Again, we're in the realms of project management. Competence is another factor, psychological factor we see that helps to build trust for organizations as well as stakeholders. We trust what works, basically. And last point I would like to make is the respect and fairness. Obviously we trust when we feel valued. So I want to talk to you guys, share with you a very short story. There was one time we worked on an IT project, and we feel that there was a stakeholder losing a little bit of a trust we noticed in our team because not we are failing, but because of silence. In the hindsight, we're looking back. Project was getting delayed, and I think we failed to explain clearly why things were being delayed. And the stakeholder started to think that there was some mismanagement, even though there was the real reason was really waiting and dependency on the vendors. So then we shifted gear and realized, okay, it's important that we have to have a consistent communication for the stakeholder to see, really share the transparency on the updates. So once we started weekly transparent updates, even sometimes some bad news, they, started to feel okay. So they feel the trust, they feel the openness, so that the trust, we noticed that it was coming back. And psychologically, for stakeholders, that transparency was very, very important. Now, if I have a very short minute, I will also want to talk about, there's a concept called circle of trust or circle of safety. Simon Sinek, I'm sure all of you probably know about him. That for organizations, when the leaders and as project managers, we too implement the circle of trust, meaning that everyone feel that they belong, they feel that there is a trust, then there's a safety around it. Then they start to cooperate and really work with each other. So it really goes back into our psychology of caveman time, when there was uncertainty everywhere, there was dangers out there, saber tooth or wolves or any other dangers out there, that people needed to work together to feel trust, that they feel safety amongst each other, not competing against each other. Then we start to really work together and cooperate. So we can take that psychology too now going into project management. So that,
Right.
and going back to your question, Ahmed, these factors would be helping to build the between organizations and stakeholders for trust. So with that, I'll just wrap it up.
Thank you, Batu. Thank you so much. Does any of our other panelists has a different opinion to this or want to add to this question? What psychological factor builds or erode trust between organization and stakeholders? Anybody else want to give a shot at it? Trust
Ahmed, I would
between-
like to mention
Yeah, go
something
ahead,
that
please.
has been mentioned twice today. I was reading something when I was doing my organization transformation certificate by PMI. They mentioned that you are not managing human resources, you are managing humans. So whenever we are talking about people and managing a team that is diverse, that is coming from different backgrounds, we need to always understand that this trust, we need to build it. And in order to build it, we need to understand the background, even though it's going to be an overburden as a manager or as someone who is leading. Nevertheless, trust is very important, as it was mentioned. And what other thing that can be added is understanding the resilience behind it. So every one of us, even if we're acting as a team basis or individually, we want to succeed in our career. So we need to understand this urge as well. And if we combine them, I think we can find a certain equilibrium that can fit all answers.
Thank you, Rian. Thank you so much. Anybody else wants to add, or should I move on to the next question? How does emotional intelligence impact a leader's ability to influence diverse stakeholder group? When we talk about people, when we talk about human, when we talk about trust, we cannot leave out emotional intelligence. The next question. Okay, just a minute. Before we go to the next question, my request to the audience is, in the chat, the volunteers are waiting to see if you have any specific question that you want to add. So please post your question there, and also the quote which will highlight you. If you have any, please post it on the chat group. Moving on to the next question. How does emotional intelligence impact a leader's ability to influence diverse stakeholder group? Patricia, you want to take this? You're on mute. You are on mute. Yeah, go ahead, please. Yeah.
Okay, this is on slow mode. That is why it happened. Now it should be fine. I double click. Okay. So thank you for these questions. Yes, this is emotional intelligence. Yes, on one hand, we can say nothing new. This is nothing nice to have at that moment. This is something we leaders, project managers, people, and also we as people, yes, we should be aware, first of all, aware. Yes, this is what I would like to focus about emotional intelligence. On the other hand, this is also important in our organization, our development, professional development, also to develop this skill. Why? I will tell you, I wanted to tell something different a little bit, but I think you already said a lot about the stakeholder management also. What is important? We talk about the trust, we talk about the collaboration, understanding itself. I will tell you something. A year ago, I also presented a training for young people, students, and I just started welcome session with "How are you doing?" Yes, and everyone said to me, "Okay, fine," and I then started to thinking, "Okay, but how are you feeling? What are your emotions right now?" And then they started to saying, "Okay, good, nice, tired." There was on the group, on the audience, there was a group of around, I don't know, 60 people, and the 60 people said only 3 emotions. Yes. So then I started really to think about what do we exactly know about emotions? What do we exactly know how to manage the emotions? Yes, we are leaders. We are cooperating with people. Sometimes we want to, let's say, ask to request people for some activities to do their work, etc. And we do not understand what is behind their emotions, how they are feel today. So this is the one side, again, on this emotional intelligence. On the other side, we have our own feelings, our own emotions. Sometimes we as leader, maybe not sometimes, this is first thing, we should understand, we should be aware about this. We should also understand our emotions, how to manage, how to react on different situations. So yes, this is what I would recommend to everyone. First of all, to be aware about emotions around us, to be aware about different situations can happen within our daily work, daily cooperation. Because also when we are going to our stakeholders within our project, when we are sometimes experience situation like aggressive, this is also what's happened. When we have conflict situations, please take a look deeper. Please understand what is behind. Yes, this is what we should understand, what we should recognize under the emotional intelligence. Yes, so yeah, so I was not, let's say, deep into the theory, what was my goal at the beginning, but just to show what exactly during our daily work emotional intelligence mean, the understanding of the emotions, what the people feel, what they have on the table today, because tomorrow this could be totally different situations. Do you have maybe questions here? Oh, Ahmed, I think now you are muted.
I am on mute. I went on mute. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Patricia. Anybody else want to add to this?
Yeah, if I may add a point.
Yeah.
Patricia, I mean, yes, I agree with, I echo her points. The only thing I would say also is, yes, EQ is taking in through, understanding yourself, and through empathy, you see how, how others are coming across, but it's also about just bringing into project management. It's about communicating how, different stakeholders, how they would understand, or speaking their language, so to say. So with engineers, maybe I talk about stability, but with management, maybe it's about talking about business risk and reputation. So different stakeholders or different teams are looking at through project and even life, people looking at it differently. So understanding that, then us as a project managers or leaders, we are communicating in a way that would help them to see to clearly is, I think, also part of EQ as well.
Okay. Okay. I have a question for Samir. Samir, in what way do cognitive biases, for example, confirmation bias or loss aversion, affect stakeholders' reaction to change initiative? I know you have given a few examples. If you can quickly elaborate that, that will help.
Yeah, sure. So during my keynote, I had covered about some biases. So when you talk about confirmation bias, so stakeholders basically they absorb only information that confirms what they are already believing, right? So they don't look at whatever 47 slides or 48 slides or ROI deck or whatever things you bring it to them. That won't change their skeptic's mind. It will give them more data pointers for maybe reinterpreting or confusing. But what you can, as a project manager, you should do it. You have to just understand, help me understand what evidence would change your view. And that is what is more powerful than any business case. You have to just conform to what they are expecting from you. Similar biases, if you can look at, maybe there's some bias called loss aversion also, right? So it has been proved psychologically that people feel losses almost 2 to 3 times more intensely than the equivalent gains. That means when you talk of saving a 10 crore and losing 10 crore, so what motivates people to react in a particular way, that depends on how project manager frames your idea, right? So a project manager, if he frames every change in terms of what the stakeholders risk losing by not changing, that will help them gain support in your favor. So when you talk about that, if you don't help in this cause of change, then this is what is the loss which we are going to make, right? And that will completely change. There is another very important thing which often happens, like in this world, change is the only constant. So change will keep happening. If you can't move ahead with the change, you will be left out. So there is a status quo bias when we people call it, bro. So the brain literally experiences change as threat every time, right? Your amygdala fires, the rational thinking reduces, and we as the project managers, we probably don't realize it coming your way. So this is why perfectly logical change initiatives, they actually face irrational resistance. You won't understand. There is no logic in it, right? People aren't being difficult, but their nervous system is not doing their job. So how do you change that? You just change your frame of mind. So every change, whatever you are asking for, if you can, the human brain wants to build and treat uncertainty as a danger, the project manager's job is to overcome that, right? So if you can manage these biases and address the stakeholders' concerns, then I'm sure all these issues will get over straight away and your project becomes successful.
Yeah, thank you, Samir. Thank you so much for sharing that. My next question is to Estella. How does message framing influence stakeholder interpretation and behavior response? How does message framing influence stakeholders' interpretation and behavior response?
Thank you, Ahmed. When we talk about message framing, I believe there are two aspects that we need to take into consideration. There's the format and the setting. The format is really about the way we are delivering the message. And right now, we have so many tools, we have so many sophisticated, automated solutions that help us building very top-notch reports and very top-notch graphs, but not all the stakeholders have either the time or the skills to understand those reports. And the format or that is used to deliver the message is really important, because at that moment, the communication becomes effective, not because we have just delivered a message, but because we ensure that the person to which we are talking or to which we are addressing the report is truly understanding what we want to give or what we want to send as a message. And there, I really try as much as possible in the projects to emphasize on clarity, on even some support to some stakeholders, because as I say, they might not have the same level of skills, they might not have the same backgrounds. There are so many elements that are involved in their understanding of the information that we are delivering, and we have to take those those elements in consideration. And we also have to know that the stakeholders, regardless of their level of influence, they really have a different understanding. Regardless, we can have some very, very highly influential stakeholders, but their background is really framing the way they are going to analyze and understand the information or the way the message is delivered. So that's really the important to look at the way, at the format we want to use when delivering a message. The second aspect I would like to point on is the setting. Like, we may have an information to give, and we believe that coming to the meeting and talk about that information, talk about that message, deliver it during the meeting is going to really make a big move. Unfortunately, it can do the opposite. The outcome can be completely at the opposite side of what we expected. And then what could be a solution, or what could be one trick, is maybe have a 10 or 15 minute discussion with some highly influential stakeholders before those meetings, because working that way can really help building consensus. And from that consensus that would have been built prior to the meeting, we can have a dynamic that can completely shift during the meetings. And from that decision, from that shift of dynamic, we can have decisions that would have a major impact on the project. So the way we frame the messages in our projects, the way we deliver the message in our projects is really, really important. AI is there today. It's really easy to have some fast, very nice, with beautiful graphics, with beautiful sheets and everything in those reports. But this is where the human touch is important. How do we ensure that our stakeholders receive the message in a way they can understand it, in a way they can really feel concerned with what we want to share? So thank you.
Thank you, Stella. Thank you so much. I think you brought a different point to the discussion. On a similar line, I have a question for Riam. Why do stakeholders resist change psychologically? Why do stakeholders resist change psychologically? And what engagement strategies reduce this resistance? While we have been talking around it, can you please help us highlight this point, please?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Ahmed, for this question. When we're talking about stakeholder resistance, we need to understand that resistance is rarely about the change itself. So when we're talking about it, it's about the psychology that is behind it. And this point has been mentioned by Samir earlier. There's first of all, there's a loss aversion, we can say it. Like, people naturally, they feel losing something. Sometimes it might be control, sometimes the expertise, your status, your work, your job, whatever it is. And they're afraid of losing this more than they value potential gains. So even if the change is positive, sometimes the immediate emotional reaction for it, what am I losing, or what's in it for me? And second of all, to be honest, there's like uncertainty plays a major role in this. Like we as humans, we are wired to prefer predictability. We need to understand what is happening. So when change introduces ambiguity, it creates a certain anxiety or overwhelming feelings. And that often shows up as what we might call it resistance. Third, we have something that is related to us as humans. We have our own identity. We might have our own ego. So many stakeholders, they have built their credibility around existing processes. So when we challenge those, it might feel sometimes that we are challenging them personally. So we are taking it to a personal level, not on a professional level. There's always like the cognitive overload. Like in many organizations, people are already stretched. So when change feels like one more thing, we need to do additional thing. So resistance becomes like a natural response, not out of opposition. It might be out of capacity limit, or okay, we might feel that this is another burden on us. And finally, we might say we have a problem with trust. So if stakeholders don't trust leadership, and this goes back to the first point, or have seen failed transformations before, they will resist as a form of maybe what we call self-protection for them. Now, if you might say how we can address those problems, the most effective approach sometimes is shifting from telling to co-creating. So instead of me telling the team, go do that, maybe, okay, let's meet all together and let's try to create something together. And when stakeholders are involved earlier, they feel like ownership, they feel resistance, it comes naturally within what they are doing as jobs. And second, maybe we need to clearly answer what's in it for me. So we're not talking about an organizational level, because we spoke previously about how it might be personal sometimes. So we need to understand what on day-to-day level, what's in it for me. Third, create a certain maybe psychological safety. So stakeholders, they need space to express concerns without feeling dismissed. Resistance often decreases when people, they are feeling like they are heard and they are actively being listened to. And fourth, maybe focus on the influence. And this is something that has been mentioned by Estelle. So when we're talking about influential stakeholders, we're not talking about main stakeholders. We are talking about people who can create a certain influence. So when we are engaging them on an earlier step, maybe it will allow more change to come naturally and simply simplify the change. So we don't need to overwhelm everybody. So break it into small steps, show quick wins, making progress visible. Celebrate those small bits and pieces that are coming together. So mainly maintain this consistency and transparent communication, even if you don't have all the answers. Clarify, build those trust issue, and again, trust always reduces any kind of resistance that is happening.
That's correct. That's correct. Thank you so much. My next question is to Patricia. What psychological principle sustains long-term stakeholder engagement beyond short-term incentives? What psychological principles sustain long-term stakeholder engagement beyond short-term incentives?
Thank you for these questions. I think all these questions are also related to something the same, I would say. Yes. So we need to understand people around us, people on which level we are cooperating. Yes, whether this is customer, whether this is financial team, IT team, students who just started cooperation with us. So this is maybe my just general thoughts so far. But yes, when we talk about a long-term stakeholder engagement, this is not about perks or bonuses for sure, because they are, let's say, not creating lasting commitment. Maybe I will, let's say, also mention here about the self-determination theory. Yes, when we have the three needs which needs to be met to motivate the people, to get the people engaged, we are talking for sure about the autonomy, that the people have real influence over what they do, competency, that they feel capable and confident in their role, and relatedness, I think Samir also mentioned it before, that people work in environment built of trust and collaboration. And of course, in general, is the purpose. Yes, the team, the people, stakeholders in general needs to feel and understand the purpose, what we are doing, why we are doing something, for what will be the result, of course, what are the expectations, because sometimes this is also not properly mentioned, it is not properly showed. We are just focused on the KPIs, reports, checking, reviewing, motivating people, but only, let's say, with the deadlines. Yes, no, this is, I think, not the proper approach. The people needs to also feel the belonging. This is why we, as the leader, maybe also back to the emotional intelligence, we need to feel, we need to understand what each of the person need at the moment. Yes, and yes, from my experience in general, I think these are things I also mentioned at the beginning: clear vision, trust, and strong sense of purpose. This is something can connect the people, and yes, should long-term stakeholders engagement be in place with this.
Thank you so much. Now we are moving on to questions from the audience. So I would want any of our panelists to take up this question. So I'll just read the first question. How can this question from Mohammed Fadzeli? He's asking, how can project leaders identify the subconscious bias that might be preventing a stakeholder from fully supporting a new initiative? I repeat the question. How can project leaders identify the subconscious bias that might be preventing a stakeholders from fully supporting a new initiative? Who wants to go for this question? Samir, you want to give it a shot?
Yeah, I was about to come there. So, yes, there are this subconscious bias which actually creeps in from a lot of stakeholders, actually. So when they say, yes, but I'm a little skeptical about it, that is where we have to figure out as to, yes, this looks good, but we should wait for quarter 3, quarter 4, or the next quarter and things like that. The timing is not right. And that is where their subconscious mind keeps telling them, let's delay it, even if they have adequate data or logic for doing this. So basically, what as a project manager, the analysis should be that you should look for all these kind of they're scrambling around, right? That feeling looks for a particular reason. And what you can, how you can change that mind is by customizing, asking the simple questions what I covered earlier. Like if you ask them what exactly is your concern, how can we address those concerns so that you get on board? And that simple talk can remove all the subconscious mind or subconscious mind's concerns that are becoming a hurdle for any particular project.
Okay, good. Anybody else want to add anything? Okay. Let me know if you want to add anything.
Yes, hello?
Yeah, Stella.
Yes. So, following what Samuel just said, if I had to do something, the subconscious bias of our stakeholders can be generated by so many aspects, like even the group identity, what are their beliefs, what is their history, what are their interests. They might not express it directly, but those elements or those factors can really have a toll on the subconscious bias. And as project managers, I believe that we need to have a good understanding of all the stakeholders that are engaged in the project or that we want to engage in the project, because those biases are going to shape either the alignment or the resistance, and can also affect the dynamics and the decisions that are later on be made in the project. So is I think from a project manager perspective, is really trying to understand, having that position where we somehow try as much as possible to put ourselves in the shoes of the stakeholders, try to see the things from their position, and then maybe we will be able to have like also a little perspective of those biases.
Thank you, Stella. Batu, I have a question for you. The question is by Anuj Tiwari. Both influence and engagement have positive and negative sides. Moreover, negative influence and engagement are used and considered power in projects. How do you handle this positively for project success? You want me to repeat the question?
Yeah. Could you repeat that?
Okay. The question is by Anuj Tiwari. He is asking both influence and engagement have positive and negative side. Moreover, negative influence and engagement are used and considered power in project. Negative influence and engagement are used and considered power in project. How do you handle these positively for project success? Somebody is trying to derail your project by negatively influencing it. Now, how do you, in such scenario, how do you take it positively, or what will be your approach?
Okay. Well, I mean, the approach is really you want to take a look at really trying to dissect in detail from point A to from beginning to end what is going on, and then process flow wise how you can see what is the root cause of this negative influencing from these individuals or stakeholders, and then from there you guys can clearly see once you have identify the root cause, then once you remedy and take a step, then hopefully the next step will light up, and then you can try to take that to turn it to the positive side. I think that's kind of I'm getting from that question. I mean, there's a lot of things going on, and then I'm having a little bit of difficult time to listening. So the other panelists, if they have insights to add, I'll be happy to share it.
Riyam, you want to take that up?
Yes. So I would say whenever we are dealing with anything negative, we just need to embrace it and accept it. Sometimes those kind of changes or the negative impact that they have, they are inevitable. So we need to understand it. We need just like, okay, fine. Now we're dealing with this. How can we move forward? What are the aspects that might for example, like creating a risk mitigation plan, but something purely related to change, maybe a change mitigation plan. Whenever we are dealing with any changes, of course, we're going to have positive impact and negative impact. And the negative impact, we cannot run from it. We need to embrace it, we need to accept it, and we need to move forward with it.
Okay. I would want to maybe just a food for thought for all of you. I would want to know how the stakeholder psychology is going to impact in the AI era, AI environment. Is it going to, or is it not? Just start thinking over it. We will discuss on those questions. Okay. The next question is, what is the most effective way to reset a relationship after a cross-cultural misunderstanding and had led to a loss of trust? We've been talking about stakeholders, we have been talking about human connections, emotional intelligence, trust. Like for example, in a scenario where you, or maybe not you, or you're the one who has been working earlier, has broken the trust with the customer. Now, how do you build up that relationship and take that project or account further? This question has come from Mohammed Fadzel. So who wants to take this question? Patricia?
Okay. Oh, it's unmuted. Yes, as I understood properly, the question is about when we had some kind of good relationship, then it was broken for some reason, and then we try again, let's say, to go on the proper line. In project management, I think we can agree Who doesn't have such a situation? Please raise their hand. But yes, that is the case. Of course, let's start from the scratch. What happened exactly? Okay, we are talking here about some misunderstanding due to cross-cultural. For sure, at the beginning, I would say this should be some kind of lessons learned. Why happened this? Yes, why we were not prepared. To be honest, I had let's say situation when I started with let's say I was sure I know everything about different culture, that I am prepared. No, I wasn't some time ago. And yes, I had also some kind of misunderstanding with connection with people from other countries. And what we could do, yes, we can get first of all support, yes, first of all to understand what happened, why happened. And again, I don't know why, but I will again say about the emotional intelligence. Also, what happened on the other side, why I was not understood, or what kind of mistake we have taken, because sometimes there is not about a mistake. This is only about misunderstanding. So I think this is also important to sit to the same table, discuss what was wrong, how can we, let's say, build up the situation of the project, for example. How can we prepare our communication if this was related to the communication? I am also open-minded to discuss, yes, not to point emails, for example, but to discuss if we are not enough because the trust was broken. Let's invite proper people, maybe from leadership, maybe on the same level, but for example, we need technical people to build up the, let's say, relationship with the customers. Yeah, so I am always focused on discussion and to understand and to move forward, yes, with the projects. And of course, we have to show up. This will be, of course, additional effort. This is always additional effort. So I would suggest and recommend at the beginning, when we are starting cooperating with different countries, different cultures, be prepared. Take lessons learned also from the others. Muted, Ahmed.
I'm here. Yeah. Okay. Going to is there a disturbance from my side? Going to our the key question that I just broke a few minutes ago about, is this going to impact in the AI range, AI era, the psychology of stakeholder influence and engagement? Samir, you want to take that question and help us understand what's going to be the impact in the AI era?
Yeah, definitely. First and the foremost thing, I have been doing this for quite some time now. AI is definitely going to impact every facet of your life. Whether you like it or not, it is going to impact, right? Better. Everybody starts using AI, whether positively or negatively. The moment you put a point across to them, the first thing, as of now, earlier we used to probably Google it, but now they have got a wider set of data sets, wider set of contexts which are available at their disposal at a click of a button, right? And that is where it is completely changing the dynamics. So whenever you put across certain points to them, the first thing, almost everyone, it is probably each one of you also must be facing this. So if some problem comes to you, the first thing people try and go on ChatGPT or some particular LLM and try to get the answer from it. And that is what is entirely changing your stakeholder engagement. They are getting more and more options available at their disposal. And how do you navigate from all that aspects and then create a value for your money? So whenever you are trying to go at a particular thing, it is not only the data sets which are going to help you out, right? And as we have covered earlier, the psychological part of it, the emotional quotient, the psychological aspects that weighs heavily when you manage people. So at the same time, when AI, it is there to augment, but it should not be taken as I would say, threat. And that is how, if you change your mindset from a mere threat from using AI resources or fearing from AI, you should take it as an augmentation to whatever you are thinking and couple it with whatever cognitive balances you have, your emotional intelligence we have to scale through this diverse ecosystem, whether it is cultural diversity, whether it is economic diversity, and all these things is possible only when you consider it as an augmentation tool and not as a threat.
Right. Who wants to go next?
I would
Anybody?
like to add.
Yeah, go ahead, please. Yeah.
I'd like to add a few things. Maybe sometimes when we are dealing with AI, the only impact that it might affect is like maybe making the team more insecure about their deliverables or about their knowledge. So we all depend on AI drastically, and we are doing that on daily basis when it comes to creating codes, fixing pictures, doing those charts, whatever it is. So I do assume that AI will have a negative impact if it's not being followed, or in parallel we are not increasing our knowledge when it comes to how to do this. So even if we are depending on it, we need to make sure that we understand what we are doing, we are reviewing, we are not letting AI to purely manage our outcomes. But nevertheless, when it comes to the psychology and understanding the psychology of a stakeholder, as a leader, you should understand what the team is going through. And sometimes they don't even know this knowledge, so that's why they reach to AI, as we all do. And maybe from this, we need to understand that even we as humans, maybe we have several layers. So we are talking about a layer that is related to our personal growth. We have another layer that is related to career. And now we have another aspect that is AI, that is transforming our life and shifting it from something that we call like the normal life to something that we do not understand. And this is where uncertainty goes. So it's gonna become it's gonna become harder for leaders to understand how to lead, especially when you are dealing with projects. You are dealing it with several levels. So we are talking to the upper management or a higher level, and you are talking to your team that is the lower management cycle, if you want. So it's like a vertical and a horizontal. And if you want to understand all of this, you need to make sure that you are solid about what you want, and the communication is well transparent, and you are building this type of solid communication. Because understanding the psychology, it's not about AI, it's about we as humans. This is the only human part about what is left, if we want to say, about project management.
Thank you, Riam. Anybody else wants to add? Batu, you want to go next?
Sure.
Yeah, please.
Right. I mean, I can even, if we were to zoom out and just look at our lives, technology and AI has been dramatically changing the way we think, the way we approach. And if we think about it, it's really focusing mostly on how the dopamine receptors are receiving the easy information or the pleasures, all these quick answers. So that is going to impact huge on the stakeholders or the project management, or just the way we see things. So that's gonna make us more impatient. That's gonna make our, if we're talking about the stakeholders, they just want to see quick results or quick answers to things. It's going to change the way we behave or live or look at things, that we're always looking at the shortcuts, or we are also, it's in a way negatively impacting human creativity, the struggle of actually doing, going through things, and then from that work growing. So there's a whole lot of impact. Obviously there's a lot of positives too, but we just have to, before technology, we used to buy, if you think about it, a whole CD or album. Then there was an era of choosing, Apple Music, choosing only the songs that we want to listen to, and we buy them. But now with the AI, there's that next step of technology. So it's definitely very interesting times to be living, and just very interesting to see going through it. So AI in the psychology of impacting on just not only stakeholders but our lives is huge.
Thank you, Batu. Thank you so much. Estela, you want to add something? Is it
Yes.
impacting your stakeholders? Yeah.
Now, talking about this question of AI and the psychology of our stakeholders, I think it's Rayam who mentioned the tools that we can have with AI and also how it can affect our teams. AI today is, from my understanding, um, technology that we use to accelerate our potential. It can help accelerating the way we analyze data, the way we collect the data and everything, but it's not going to change or to replace the human connection. And this is where we have to step up as project manager. How do we work? How do we understand the psychology of our stakeholders after eventually the AI has done his work, his analysis and everything? How do we now appropriate from the information that we have received from the AI or that has been generated by the AI, and how do we connect? How do we build that connection? How do we build that trust with the stakeholders? I believe that's where we as project managers should stand today. How do we eventually build the bridge between the technology and our stakeholders? How do we try to understand the psychology of our stakeholders from the information that are generated by the AI to now focus on the outcomes of the project?
Thank you so much. Thank you. Patricia, you want to go next? We'll conclude after that.
Still with the question about the AI and
Yeah.
stakeholder. Yes, not easy questions, because I totally agree with everyone about you. As Estella, you said already about that how we are using. Of course, I am using also to be quicker, to understand, to get quicker, more information, to make our work better. And this sounds on one hand good, because we are prepared, we are faster, our customers are happy. But then it starts. Okay, you could do this so quick. Okay, let's prepare additional offer. Let's do this project this way. Let's develop the code better, sooner. So yes, I have still question mark. I think somebody also put on the chat the ethic, where we will stop, how far we will go with this. Of course, I am using also the tools related to AI to, let's say, prepare better presentation, to prepare faster answer to the customer. On the other hand, they are expecting also more from us. Yes. So about the psychological things, what this is doing for us. It could be we are more frustrated. It could be we again feel, okay, we are not enough. We are not good enough for the customer, for the project, for the challenges. So yes, it is important, and I will leave this because I think this is the red line on one hand for me, where I can support as leader. Also, of course, talking about the team, people around us, where how far can I support, and where it's real psychological from a psychology support required, because this is also something what we are already observing. Yes, so be careful, observe your people, observe your stakeholder. This is what I also suggest talking about the AI solutions.
Thank you. Thank you. I think that was a very good discussion we had with all of you together, and an excellent panel that we had. And I did not find a single moment where there was distraction or low energy. It was really high and good discussion that we had. And I believe we covered almost all corners of stakeholder management. And I'm sure our audience is going our audience is going has already loved and going to take away a lot of things from this discussion. Okay, moving on to the next segment that we have. Uh, I will just share my screen. Okay, going on to the next one. Here, for today's quote, we have for the psychology of stakeholder influence and engagement, we have a quote by Mohammed Fazil Fitri Shukri from Malaysia. And he says, stakeholders are not milestones to be managed. They are investors of purpose. To move a mind, you must first find the interaction where their personal narrative meets your collective mission. I'll read this again. Stakeholders are not milestones to be managed. They are investors of purpose. To move a mind, you must first find the intersection where their personal narrative meets your collective mission. Thank you, Faisal. Thank you for this quote. And moving on to the next one. Tao, you have the quote ready?
Okay.
Oh.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You want to share your
Okay,
screen?
now it's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So your report is already sent to you.
Oh, okay.
Or do I need to
Yeah,
share?
Yeah.
Okay.
You have it ready. You can share. I will. Otherwise, I'll just post it in just a minute. I see. It's a good one. Copy. It will not come here. I will present again. I think. Yeah. If I got it, please.
Got it.
So you want to speak about the code now?
Yeah, sure. So okay. So are you going to share the screen or do I need to share?
Yeah,
screen?
I'm sharing my screen. I'm sharing my
screen. Okay. No problem. So thank you everyone for joining us. Wonderful topic, wonderful speech from all the panelists. So as we wrap up, I have to leave you guys one simple word to master stakeholder engagement. So which is trust. So T is for the trust building, establishing it before you actually need it. R is for reward states, shift their brain out of the defensive threat states and into cooperations. U is understand the bias, recognize and navigate the hidden conjunctive filters blocking your message. S is scarf, of course, from our keynote scarf model. Always keep their core needs in the mind status: certainty, autonomy, relatedness, and fairness. And the last but not least, T is tailored framing. Shape your message to your audience, and use EQ to guide the conversation, not argue. Master these 5 pillars, I believe, of the trust. You won't just manage the stakeholders; you'll inspire them. And thank you. And let's go elevate our project management again together. Thank you. Get back to you.
Thank you, Tao. I think we are getting to the end of it. And in today's session, we had around 160 plus members who attended and from various countries. And on my screen, I am sharing the link for the next event. I'll just hold on for a few seconds for you to capture the link and register for the event. We will also share this link in the email, in the PDU email that we send either tonight or tomorrow. So you will have a link in that email as well. So in case you want to register quickly before, then you can do that. And also for our other supporting chapters, they can also utilize this and register for the event or market this within their network. Okay, I think with this we wrap up season 7, event 3. A heartfelt thanks to all the attendees who registered for this session and attended this session as well. We had 160 plus people who did that. We thank you for giving your time and attention today. We will be back again next month. Follow our social media handles for more. Till then, stay safe, stay healthy, and see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye. Bye. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Ahmed. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Thanks, Amir. Thanks, Batu. Thanks.
Thanks a lot.
Estelle and
Bye.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Bye.
It was
Same
a
here.
pleasure being with you. Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Ian. Yeah.